Hey guys, this is Mike Cornell. I hope you guys are doing well. I just wanted to go over something with you guys. I read a fantastic book, and I got to get the author. Hold on one second. Um, One sec. Listen to a really, really good book here, and the book is called The Dip. It's actually a very short read. It's a short audible, so there's not like it's not humongous. But it's a very, very good book, and I'll tell you guys a little bit of a story about myself and why I am making this video because I think this is very important for a lot of people to hear this message. So, okay, let's start. So this book it's called The Dip. It's by Seth Godin. Hold on. It's called The Dip by Seth Godin. I think it's Godin. They have part of the it's weird in Audible they have part of the author's name erased. It's why would you do that? Anyways, but I really wanted to talk about this. It's so important, and I'm going to share with you a little bit about like what has recently happened for me. And knowing when to quit. This book is brilliant because it tells you about the dip, which is a point in your business or whatever obstacle where it seems very, very hard, and things are hard and everything's hard, and you have to know when you're in the dip. And this book is very special because whenever you try and do new things or master new things, and there's points of time where it's super hard, and that's when you know that, okay, I'm in the dip right now. Or maybe like nothing's going right, and it might be a seasonal thing for your business. You know what I'm saying? So you have to know when the dip is coming, and a lot of times it's super predictable. A lot of times it's super predictable, but we just think that it's special to us. So I wanted to talk to you guys about something particularly in this book that they spoke about was knowing when to quit. It's super important to know when to quit, and I'm gonna bring this back to flipping medical commodities and stuff. Like whenever I started that business, I knew that like definitely have an eye for businesses because I've been in so many different businesses that like right when I saw it, I knew that is a great business and nothing can stop me from being great in that business. And I knew that from the beginning. So in the beginning, right, it was like, oh, this is fucking awesome. Like this is a great business. And then what happened was maybe like 2 months into it, I'm having minimal success, but I knew that every single customer that I had was going to repeat. So I was like, okay, maybe I have 5 this month, but by next month I'll have 10 customers, so that'll be 10 people paying me. I knew that even though I was in the dip at the time and things were hard and I was barely getting business, that I knew that eventually over time this business would pay off. And it did, obviously, now because I have, I do a lot of transactions, probably over, let's see, close to 200 transactions a month. And that it could be more than that right now. I know I do an average of 45. Yeah, an average of 45. So, okay, so get back to it. But I knew that in that time I was in the dip, the building process. I knew that like, okay, like, oh yeah, this is hard. This month was hard. This month is great. I just got a new big client. Awesome. And just things like that is like, I knew that certain points that I was in the dip in that, but over time I knew that it would pay off. And if you read this book, I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but I'm just sharing with you guys. Um, like, when you're in the dip, and you know that, like, you're gonna go out the dip. That's why it's like a dip. You see, that's why they call it the dip. And it's so important to know, one, that there's a dip, and two, when to quit. And this is a humongous thing in the book too that they explain. And it was so insightful to me because I'll just tell you guys, what I did was I actually bought a mentorship, and it was a real estate mentorship. And I was like, yeah, this is cool. I can do this on kind of on the side, and I can hire virtual assistants, and I can totally outsource this, and this is awesome. There's not much, there's not much competition in this part of the real estate space, and so I was like, okay, this will be cool. So, I'm just doing this course, and keep in mind, I bought the palette course from a guy named John Charles, and so I was studying that course for like I probably studied his course at least 6 times, and I still study his course. Um, I don't know if I've told this YouTube, but I actually have a palette business as well. That I have a business partner, and yeah, so I'm pretty much building this business the way I built my diabetic test strip business. I'm building it the same. I'm building the palette business pretty much the same way. So it's pretty interesting. Um, that's why if you're an entrepreneur and you don't know how to use virtual assistants, you should definitely get my course because I show you. You could literally build fucking most businesses like it's so simple. It's so simple, to be honest. But I show you in the course how to hire, fire, and manage. And you can basically build any business, I think, with that, with virtual assistants and hiring and stuff overseas. Like, it's very simple. Anyways, so keep in mind, so I'm in the middle of this mentorship, and I'm like, man, like, this is, it's hard. I've been like, I did real estate for years. And something that, like, I got, like, I would say like 2 months, 3 months in, and I was like, man, this is just not like flowing right. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know why, and like, I just don't know why the fuck this isn't, like, I'm not pumped up about this at all. And what I noticed as soon as I read this book called The Dip, I was like, they talk about knowing when to quit, knowing when something is not for you. And it was actually my flight over here to Medellin. It was really funny. Flight over here to Medellin. Now keep in mind, guys, like I said, I studied John Charles' course because I'm really fascinated in just certain kinds of businesses I'm really fascinated in. And I saw his course and I was like, I could easily dominate that business. I know I could. I know how I can do it. I can hire a team, and this is all I need, and blah blah blah. So I had studied that thing for like three or four times, and then I kind of moved on from it because I was like, oh, I don't have that. There's no way I can do that because I'm not in the country. So blah blah blah. So I kind of overlooked it. So what happened was one day as I'm flying over, I was like, I was reading this fucking book and I was just talking about knowing when to quit, knowing when something's not for you, and knowing when you're wasting your time and when you should just cut the cord. And when I read this book on the flight over here, I automatically knew that I needed to quit and I needed to pursue this pallet business. And I was like, I don't know how. Because in the book, they talk about like how people do things that they're not necessarily good at, and they just try and do it, but it doesn't align with their skills and what they know already. So I'm on the flight and I'm like, dude, I gotta start this pallet business. Like, it's just crazy. Like, it's insane. I know this business. All I have to do is find a business partner over there in the States. I could provide all of the back office stuff, and it'd be easy. So I literally that day I was like, I just made a choice in my head. Like, I'm gonna fucking, like, I'm not doing this real estate stuff for a side business anymore. I'm gonna do what I know. I studied that course 3, 4 times, and I'm gonna do what I know. I know that business like the back of my palm. Like, I've studied every single. I even have a book. Oh, I actually lost the book, but I had a whole book of notes on it because I studied it 3 times in a row. And then, ever since then, I'll study it too, just to like get some. But so then what happened was I literally, on the plane, I was like, I'm not going to do this business anymore. I'm just not going to do it. And that's when I started the pallet business as soon as I got here. It's funny because whenever you share about something you're passionate about, people come. And I just started sharing like this exact story. Like, okay, I'm not going to do this real estate thing on the side anymore. I'm going to do this pallet business. I know it, blah, 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 blah. And lo and behold, I have a business partner now. And we actually did our first load today. And that's awesome. So, what is the point of this whole thing? The point is that, one, you need to know when to quit, know when something's not for you. I think that a lot of times, and they talk about this in the book, a lot of times what happens is we try to not quit out of pride. And we try and be good at something that isn't necessarily what we're naturally good at or what we've been trained to do. And so sometimes people, especially with competitive spirits, they just won't quit something even though it's not for them. And they talk about this in the book, they can spend 10 years trying to be successful in this. Whereas if you find out what you're good at, then you'll spend 2 years because you're naturally already good at those things. And so anyways, now that business is running very well. Like I said, we just did our first load today, and I'm really pumped up about that. And I have a virtual assistant for that business, and she's making 3 or 4 appointments a day, and it's really great, honestly. But I know I'm gonna be really, really good at that business. Like I know it. I just know I do. I just know I am, and because it fits all my skills that I already know. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is that we should always know when to quit. And the way that is, how long does it take for you to get results? Are you procrastinating? Are you not pumped about it? Do you see any kind of hope? Does whatever you're trying to be good at, is that business aligned with your skills, which you already know? And these are just things you need to think about. Because what I was doing was I was basically I wasn't quitting out of pride. And that's good to not quit out of pride, but sometimes, like I said, sometimes you just have to quit something. You have to. because sometimes it just doesn't align with your skills, and that's okay. You don't have to be good at everything, and that's what I had to learn. So that's why I'm making this video. And I don't even really know John Charles, so I'm not even trying to. Um, I'm not trying to promote his stuff, but he does have a good course, so I guess that's free promotion for him. Good for him. But yeah, I just wanted to share that because a lot of people, including me, will try and do something for so long, and they will literally spend time on something that they're not good at, or their skills aren't conducive to the industry or wherever they're trying to come in at. So like, yeah, anyways, so that's just a little bit of update about me too. Like, I don't think I told anybody this on my YouTube, but I did start that, and we actually had our first pallet load today. We rented a truck and had our first pallet load, and with that business, we have a lot of we set at least 15 appointments so far. I think we're at 16, but we set 16 appointments in the first less than 2 weeks. Less than 2 weeks. So, I mean, that's pretty fucking good. Like I said, I know I'm going to dominate this. I already know it because I've studied the course a couple times and blah, blah, blah. But, um, yeah, I mean, it's just something to think about. Um, sometimes like we think that we're going to be good at something, and we find out that it's not for us. So, I just wanted to make that video, and yeah, a little bit of update about me too is I'm staying another month in Medellin, and another reason why I wanted to start that business too, and this is an ego thing, but I wanted to start it just to say that I built a business overseas. So, none of you guys have any excuses, because if I can build a business overseas and have it be successful, then, you know, that's that. I mean, there's really no excuses. And, I just wanted to say I built a business overseas too. So while I was traveling. So these are the little fun things, when you start really when you love business, this is the type of fun thoughts and fun ideas that you get. It's like, okay, I'm going to fucking do this and I'm going to do this and shit. Like, this stuff is fun. And like, you start making fun goals because you can. Yeah, so I did start that business, and I'm really excited for that. And we've had a lot of success, and we're still trucking. My diabetic business is doing well. Still hitting great numbers every single week, and that's 95% of all of it is delegated out. So, yeah. That's how I wanted to build my life, is where I can delegate things and I would just manage things, and so far I'm being successful. Not to say that there definitely hasn't been headaches, but it's a lot of fun. It's like a lot of fun. It's fun that I don't have to be location dependent, and I'm managing two different businesses, and I have a mastermind, and I also sell the courses as well. So it's all fun. It's all a lot of fun, and I want to help people do that as well. There's other businesses where you can easily build. You could easily. It's so easy to, for me, it's so easy to build a business by hiring. I mean, it really is. All you have to do is train somebody, hire, train, and then let them go, and then figure out their results, and then let them go. But what I'm trying to say is that uh, you don't have to do your business alone. And the biggest skill that I feel is going to be needed for people that want to scale fast is one, to be able to hire, fire, and manage virtual assistants effectively. Like that, I think is going to be the biggest skills moving forward. Especially if if you want to have like a free life, like you have to start looking at how can I hire people to do things for me versus you doing it yourself. And if you want to have a free life, freedom, you have to think that way. And that's why I created the virtual assistant course. And, I would start there. And actually, no, I would start, if you're a new entrepreneur, I would start with flipping diabetic, product empire course that I have. There's a link. And then, level up a little and then get the virtual assistant course, or get them both. If you're seeing this video and you want to get both, I'll give you a special promotion to both the courses for $600 instead of $800. So just let me know if you want to move forward with that. But the first one will help you get the skills to be able to build a good flipping diabetic product business. And then second, the virtual assistant course will start helping you plant the seed, and will give you step by step on how to hire, fire, and manage virtual assistants. And it will get your foot in. See, both of those courses are basic, but they're very thorough. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like, okay, the first level is somebody that flips diabetic products locally. And then the second level is like I would say like a mid-sized business that you start to be like when you start getting so big in your diabetic product business that you're gone most of the day, that's like level 2. And then the third level to me is having that happen in your area, and then being able to buy from all over the country and have a good online presence. I think that's level 3. And then I think level 4 is, traveling and doing all that. And then, hiring out couriers in your area, which I have, hired out couriers in my area. So all my customers are serviced. And then, having a nationwide business. And I'm talking about the diabetic test strip business when I talk about this, but I think that is like level 4. And then I think the next step is to, I guess when you eventually you want to become a wholesaler, like a big time wholesaler. And I think that'll be my next step. So, when you're a wholesaler, you have to have a lot of capital available, and that's just what happens. So, there's multiple ways you can take this business as well. You can also hire couriers in different cities. You could start advertising in different cities and then hire couriers. I don't suggest that because you can't really control couriers as much as you'd like. So you really want to have a courier that is good, that is pretty much a good person. I mean, you never know. You can't, how are you going to trust couriers with your money? That's the question. Like, can you trust that person? So for me, I never really wanted to go down the courier route. Though that's what people do, is they'll hire couriers, and they do pretty well. They'll have they'll have one area, and then they'll have another area, and they might have a store. And this is just like how people used to do it. I think the best way to do it is to have an online presence, and then at least dominate your area. I would say locally, because and this is why I say this, when you first start, you're going to do it locally, and then you're going to create a bunch of customers, and then over time you might hire a courier, and then over time, when that courier is good, then you start focusing a lot more on nationwide business. Um, um, and building structure. See the big difference. Building a structure and focusing on nationwide business, and like using a virtual assistants to help you. And like these are just steps that you need to take. But I always try and tell people, they're always like, "Oh, I want to get in your mastermind. I want to get in. I just like, let me just get in the mastermind. I think if I," and literally 80% of the time, the people that jump in the mastermind that shouldn't get a rude awakening. And a lot of times they're overconfident. They get a rude awakening because you need to put in the time for this business. Yes, you can make great money with this business. Yes, it's not hard to learn, but still there's a learning curve and learning time that you need to have. Why? Well, you need to touch products before. Like, you actually need to touch them and know what they feel like. And so you're 100% confident, like me, I'm in Medellin, that in the future you can, you can look at whatever the product is, whatever you're selling, the diabetic test strip, whatever diabetic product that you're talking about, you can look at it and you can be like, okay, you can look at it in a picture and be like, okay, this is that looks like a good product, blah blah blah. But what I'm trying to say is that you need to have those reps. Like, you need to physically touch the product, I would say. And a lot of times people try and jump straight to online, and I'm like, man, the success rate for those people are usually very, very low. Matter of fact, I don't know anybody that has started strictly online. It's usually people, they start locally and then they kind of like learn how to outsource and delegate, hire virtual assistants, create systems, blah, 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 just like I did. And so what's the point? Well, I get so many people in my inbox saying, I want to be in the mastermind. And it's like, you literally have to walk before you crawl. I'm sorry, you have to crawl before you walk. And it's so important to like do the fundamentals. Like in basketball or in any sport, you have to learn the fundamentals. And when you know the fundamentals, then you can keep taking action and learn new tricks, learn a new dunk, learn how to kick the ball in a different way. Like, you need to know these certain things. And you wouldn't know that unless you experienced it. Like, when you play a soccer game, you can, like, there's certain times where you can do certain moves, but it has to be a perfect circumstance for certain things to happen. You just know intuitively. It's the same thing in business. In a negotiation when you can say something, or like, you just know what to say when they say this, how to say, why you should say this at this time. You just know, it's intuitive. And people try and go way too far, way too fast. And that's why I always suggest anybody about the mastermind. So start slow with my beginner course and level up, get the VA course, or get both of them at the same time. And just start leveling up that way, and start very, very simple. this diabetic test your business is so simple. And yeah, so all right.